Talk hosts, Kevin and KRISTIE.
Hey everybody! Welcome to Straight Talk. We're so glad you're here.
Yes, welcome to our studio audience and those watching on TV.
Well, guess what? Seasons are changing, colors are changing, the trees are changing, the plants are changing.
Lots of change.
Lots of change. And you know what else? This is actually our 23rd episode of Straight Talk. Come on, somebody. 23 episodes already.
Yeah. There's been a lot of change.
There has been.
In our 26 years of marriage.
26
and ministry.
Years. Come on, somebody.
There's lots of changes in our family, in our ministry.
That's
Things
true.
just keep changing. And I have to say, Straight Talk's been one of my favorite changes.
Mine too. And you know what? Sometimes, you guys, change is absolutely necessary.
Absolutely.
And if you've been around our ministry at any length of time, you know that we are not afraid to change around here. Change is really, really necessary, right? Like, could you imagine? Think about this, honey. What if we never changed our clothing or our hairstyle?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
the hair would be fun.
I actually have an old pic of before our changes. Check it out. We got a picture of what we used to. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Like, look at that.
A little more height on the hair.
I had a little more height on my hair, too. I mean, come on. Let's go.
I loved your curly hair back then. It was so curly.
But, you know, it's kind of scary. But anyway.
That's not that scary. I love it.
I don't know. But speaking of scary, today's Halloween. It's actually October 31st, Halloween night. And, you know, even though we don't celebrate Halloween like many of the people in this world do, there are going to be people all over the place trying to scare other people. You know what I mean? But I am not afraid of their masks or their charades. I'm just not afraid of it, you know? But if you were to put me on the roller coaster, like on top of the Stratosphere in Las Vegas, remember that one? You put me on top of the Stratosphere roller coaster where it actually shoots off the end. That would scare the bejeebies out of me. You know what I'm saying?
What is a bejeebie anyway?
I don't know what a bejeebie is. I know.
But I thought that roller coaster was a lot of fun. I had to sit in the front row all by myself.
Listen.
Until your brother-in-law volunteered to step up and sit in the front with me.
Well, listen, I had to sit with my sister in the back because she was scared. And by the time we were done,
that was so valiant.
It actually, I don't know if you've ever been to the Las Vegas Stratosphere, but it's very, very, very high. And this roller coaster goes right off the edge of the building.
And then
there's nothing under you. So by the time we were done with that ride, I don't know what a bejeebie is, but I had no more bejeebies. I had no bejeebies in me. You know what I mean? It is scary. It's scary.
Oh, man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our very own DJ K Dizzle.
DJ K Dizzle. What's up, K Dizzle?
How are you guys?
You're looking very fine tonight. You're looking very nice tonight.
Beautiful.
Let me ask you something. Would you ride the Stratosphere roller coaster off the edge of the building?
With Mom?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, but what seat would you be in?
The front.
The front. There's no better seat, right?
Listen, I get absolutely terrified. I am. I'm so scared, but it's so exhilarating. I may be like, I have a tendency to laugh when I'm nervous.
Yes.
So I laugh
you get that from your grandma.
I laugh the whole time, but it's worth it.
Have you been on that roller coaster?
No.
Okay.
Girl, so here's another question. Would you jump out of the Stratosphere with Mom?
Yes.
Out the side?
Okay, wait
they
a second.
They have a brand new ride where you could jump out the window.
But do you know how high the Stratosphere is?
You've been to the Space Needle, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so you've been on the top of the Space Needle.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Stratosphere is a Space Needle on top of a Space Needle?
Well, do you remember when we went to the Empire State Building?
Oh, that's right. You went to New York with me. That's right. Yeah. I do remember. I had no bejeebies anymore there either. They actually had a building there where Kaylani and I went, and it was like 109 stories up or something like that. And you walk over a balcony, and the balcony just has this big, huge section of it, and it's just glass.
Yeah.
I had no bejeebies.
Yeah.
No bejeebies.
Did you have bejeebies after that?
Was that scary to you walking out in that glass?
It was for like 2 seconds.
2 seconds?
A little unnerving at first.
Yeah, but then like this is cool. You're on top of the world.
It did feel like that. It did feel like that. Well, today we're going to be talking about actually living life with no fear. That's what the this whole show is going to be about. That living life with no fear. And I think there's a lot of things we're afraid of, and if we just think about how God covers us, we don't have to live with so much fear.
Change our mindset a little bit.
I think that's what it takes, changing of the mindset, right? So we're going to talk about that.
I think so.
We've got a great show for you today, everybody. We've got David and Bethany Johnson in the house. Yes, with Johnson Transformational Coaching. I like that. Johnson Transformational Coaching. That just sounds cool. Johnson Transformational I like it. And we're going to learn a little bit about...
You should have been an announcer.
I should have been an announcer. And we're going to learn a little bit about surf skating. Now, this is very different than surfboarding.
This sounds fun.
Or skateboarding. It's totally different. We're going to learn a little bit about that. So, stay tuned. Don't go away. Don't be afraid. We'll be right back with No Fear and more Straight Talk right after this.
Yeah, see, oh!
See,
now you're shredding. Now you're shredding.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
See?
I like it. I like it.
Everybody can do
like
it. Well done. See, you're shredding.
I think it's Kevin's turn.
Well done. Well done.
Oh, man.
When I'm listening to a customer, my number one priority is to listen.
In every moment that I'm with this customer or this client, am I doing everything that I can to look out for their best interest at the end of the day?
Just make sure they have plenty of options and they're happy with the choice that they make. It doesn't matter what we want, everything that they want is what we want to make happen.
At the end of the day, we do a walkthrough, communicate with the customer, make sure they're completely happy with what they've spent their hard-earned money for.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's first guest is a former youth pastor here in Salem. He's coached many people into a better life spiritually and physically and financially.
Yes.
And today he's going to teach us just a little bit about skate surfing. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my good friend, David Johnson. Hey! Mike!
That is awesome. That is a huge skateboard.
I have never, ever in my lifetime seen a skateboard that big.
Me neither.
I hear that a lot.
I mean, is that basically a surfboard on wheels?
Very much so, yeah. It's
So
like a longboard surfboard with wheels. Yep.
So it's not really considered a longboard.
No, so So this is very different than just your typical longboarding or skateboarding. This is like, this is made to mimic the movement of surfing in the water, except on land. So
you ride it different than like a
you ride it a little
longboard.
different. Yeah, it's less. It's a lot more in the knees. It's a lot more hand movement.
Yeah.
A lot more head movement. That
Well,
kind of
let's
stuff.
give it a try. You want to try it? Let's sit right here and see
Yeah.
if she can get that.
Yeah. Look how
I got you. Sit right there.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Remember,
I'm
okay, so
actually scared.
when it comes
Does it
to
tip that way?
so it tips both ways. When it
Okay.
comes to skating, you want to get everything. Your
Okay.
benditure's in the knees. A lot of times,
So your feet
skateboarding is
kinda-
here. This is in the knees, okay?
Okay.
And then where your
I don't know
head
if my knees
goes,
still bend that way.
where your head goes is where your board will go.
Okay.
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 So
Okay, I got it.
So, woo.
Okay.
I'm
I got
old.
you. I got you.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
The
Okay.
knees.
The
You gotta get the
knees.
knees.
Okay.
Yeah, see, oh,
My foot
see, now
actually
you're shredding.
moves
Now
sometimes.
you're shredding.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. There you
See?
go.
See,
I like it. I like
Everybody
it.
can
I
do
like
it. Well done. See,
All
you're
right, I
shredding.
think it's Kevin's turn.
Well done. Well done.
Oh, man.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah,
Let
jump
me
on.
try, David.
Okay.
I've never done this before. Now,
You got
so
this.
so when I used
you
to
want me to hold your
skateboard,
hand?
I used to just do one of these things.
Yeah.
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 Right?
So with this, yeah, very similar. Again,
You
it's
do that with this
similar
one?
in that, but with skating, you're gonna skate. You're gonna push, and then a lot of times you're gonna end up here.
Okay.
Whereas with surf skating, you're gonna come and you're actually here. So you're bending down and you're pointing your body towards.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Don't forget to
Wait,
do the
does
hands
this
like
is this foot pointing or like this?
So everything is at an angle.
This does not feel comfortable.
Trust me. Once you get it, it's so you're here. This leg's
Okay.
at an this foot's at an angle.
When you push off?
no,
so
yeah,
I'm
you're,
like
you're-
this,
so you're
and
not
then-
going to be here. You're thinking always here.
This is like
You got
technical.
this.
Yeah, yeah,
You
Okay,
got this.
you ready?
yeah. But less in the butt. Less in the
Oh,
butt.
oh, oh, oh.
Less in the butt.
What do you mean?
Less in the poop stance.
What do you mean?
A
Like,
lot of
what
times,
do I
this is
do?
called the poop stance. We don't do the poop stance.
Okay.
We bend.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Keep the penny tucked in.
Keep it tucked in?
So want to keep it tucked in.
This is not what I
So
saw.
we're not poop stancing.
Okay.
See, we're bending.
Okay.
See?
This is awesome.
Okay.
Oh.
There it is. See?
Wait.
Everybody's been surfing.
I'm getting a cramp. I'm getting a cramp. Okay. All right, man. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't even go very far. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
well done.
what's this sport all about? Like, tell us about the sport. Because when I was growing up, why am I tired? I didn't even
know,
go
man.
anywhere. But when I was growing up, I had what they called a banana board. It was made out of plastic.
Made out of
It went like
plastic,
that, and then
Tiny
went,
little thing.
and that's it.
Yep.
So, but
So,
what is this?
Well, surf skating is kind of borrows from that style. So like the Z-Boys, or the Dogtown stuff. This kind of borrows off of that.
Okay.
So where those guys were just riding like your standard trucks and wheels and all that stuff, these guys have come along. These are actually handboard boards. So they're a family-owned company out of Southern California.
Okay.
But they made these to where they're specialized trucks
Nice.
and everything is made to mimic surfing.
So do you wax that board just like a surfboard?
Nope. So
No wax?
these are made, the way they make these is so you can ride in barefoot. So generally, if you see me out riding, I'm going to have no shoes on because
Barefoot.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
everything is made to feel the same as
Like
it
a
would on the water. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So they have different styles. So you have
Yeah.
another board for
Yeah.
us?
Yeah.
Let's check out
So
that board.
this is a
Alright.
board for cruising
Okay.
and working
Send
on
it.
your.
You're supposed
There
to
you go.
send it.
She's got it.
Hey!
Okay, so
also made by handboards.
So this is another handboard. This is a little shorter. So this is going to be a good board if you're wanting to practice like faster cutback movements, faster
I feel like
turns.
that would be the board for me.
Oh yeah, so far. Yeah. So this as you can see it's going to be a little quicker, a little faster, a little funner. This is a lot more for cruising. This is if you're wanting to shred out, work on cutbacks and stuff like that.
Okay, I noticed you have a little
Yep.
Yeah.
thing on the back. You put your foot on that.
Yep.
So this is not the kind of board where when the kids, man, they'd be like, and they flip it
No,
like that fast.
no. These are way too heavy for ollies and all that stuff. Yeah.
That was fancy
You want me to
footwork
do that
there.
again?
Bam.
And then they just flip it.
No, none of that. None of
None of that.
Okay, none of that. Okay.
None of that.
No flipping.
No, I'm too old for that. Yeah.
Well, you know what's fun is I saw a clip of you taking out our technical manager, Isaiah,
Yes.
our show director, Drew,
He did amazing.
and
our
Kay
very own
Dizzle herself. You took
Kay
them out one
Dizzle.
day, and
Yeah.
how was that?
How did
How'd
they
It's
do?
amazing. They all did great. Isn't your director single?
He is
Yes.
He
single.
won't be after this video.
Hey!
Right.
Well, let's check out those highlights. We got a highlight reel. Let's check it out.
You want to go like over the bridge?
Yeah, Drew? Yeah, Drew? I'm longboarding. Yes, sir!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more Straight Talk and our special guest, David Johnson. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Good job, man. He probably doesn't know how much he means to me or how much I appreciate him, but he was somebody that I looked at and was like, wow, that guy's the real deal. So,
That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
let's look at camera one and just tell him, Randy.
Randy, I love you.
And we miss you.
We miss you. We wish you were here, but
What the heck, Randy?
yeah, what in the world?
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Yes. Well, our guests today have impacted many lives in our community. They were youth pastors here in Salem, helping people stay spiritually fit.
Yes.
And now they are the founders and owners of Johnson Transformational Coaching, helping people stay physically and financially fit. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome back David and his lovely wife, Bethany. Oh, good to have you.
Hey.
What's up, brother? Good to see you again. All right. All right. Well, that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
skateboarding, I'm telling you,
Surf skating.
not skateboarding,
Yeah.
not surfing, skate.
Surf
skating?
skate.
Surf
skate. Yep.
Wait, Bethany, do you do that too?
No.
No?
You don't?
No, he wants me to, but I don't.
You haven't tried it yet.
I've never broken a bone in my body. I'm not really interested
I
in
have
like
not
starting
either.
now.
And
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried a hoverboard once,
Oh.
and that was the last time I got on anything that was a board like
Yeah.
that.
Let's see.
See, I want
Have you done the hoverboard?
No, I won't try a hoverboard.
Really?
Yeah, I know my
I
know
ended
my
up flat on
lane.
my back, so
You know what
I'm
I
just
mean?
like,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that makes
we also ended up with a hole in the wall because of the
No, that wasn't
hoverboard.
me. That wasn't mine.
That wasn't us. That was
mine.
somebody else, but in our house. But
Nice.
anyway, yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised how tired I got just trying to stay
Yeah.
upright,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not
cardio.
even moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My legs and all of that.
Yeah.
Probably a total body workout
Oh,
when
for
you're
sure,
out on
for
it.
Very
sure,
much,
for
yeah.
Well,
sure.
anyway, it's good to have you guys on the show.
Thanks.
Bethany, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
And you know, you guys were the youth pastors when I first met you guys. You guys were youth pastors at Church on the Hill.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I recall, I don't know if you remember because you weren't with me during fireworks on the 5th of July, but
No, I don't think
they would have like I think you had like 3 or 4 tents or something, and right?
How many?
Yeah,
we
that
had
was-
two.
was
We
Was
had
it just
two.
two?
Yep, we had
Was
two.
it two?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they would come and bring all the rest of their fireworks to because I managed the returns.
Yeah,
and,
the returns.
and that's kind of like it was kind of like we saw each other every
annual
year,
meeting.
our
Yeah.
annual
Yeah.
visit,
Yeah.
our annual
Yeah,
visit.
exactly.
Bethany would always say, "Hey, is Francis Chan gonna be there?" And I would say, "No."
Which guy is it? The man
Francis
with the-
Chan,
Chan.
yeah, the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
Francis Chan.
Yeah.
But you know, we saw each other once a year, but you were very close with our youth pastor at the time,
Yeah.
Pastor Randy, right?
yeah.
So how did you guys meet Pastor Randy?
Well, I met him when I was first coming up in youth ministries, taking over as the youth pastor.
At Church on the Hill?
At Church on the
Okay.
Hill. I just started meeting with youth pastors who knew more than I did.
Uh-huh.
So I just figured, hey, these guys have been doing it more than me. They've been in the town longer, you know, working in youth ministries. And
Yeah.
so I just started making meetings. And Randy was one of them.
That's
that
awesome.
was really kind to me. He was very sweet. He was always supportive when we would get together for youth pastor meetings. We would do all city youth pastor events.
Yeah.
And he was always so kind and supportive. And so I don't think, he probably doesn't know how much he means to me or how much I appreciate him, but he was somebody that I looked at and was like, wow, that guy's the real deal. So,
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
let's look at camera one and just tell him, Randy.
Randy, I love you.
And we miss you.
We miss you. We wish you were here, but
What the heck, Randy?
yeah, what in the world? But anyway, I love that because at that time, you know, I was the senior pastor. I didn't really get to know all the youth pastors in the town, but Randy definitely did.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to hear the story of how you guys met and worked together in the city and everything like that. But, you know, that was ministry then, and now we've kind of reconnected. And you're not the youth pastor there anymore.
Nope.
So what are you doing now? Like, that was ministry then, but I know, here's the thing, is when people see that we're no longer pastoring in the capacity that we did, in the traditional church sense,
Yeah.
they think we're not pastoring anymore.
Yeah.
But that's not really true, right? I mean, once you become, if you're anointed and called and appointed and assigned, that doesn't just go away.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing nowadays as far as ministry is concerned? What's it look like?
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny. We get that question a lot. Is that again, what was it like leaving ministry? And we say, well, we never left. We just moved.
Yeah.
But I will say the beginning of that being true is you believing it. The pastor himself going, oh yeah, although I'm not in a church, that doesn't mean I'm done being a pastor.
Right.
Does that make sense? So
Right.
I think the beginning of that whole process is you actually agreeing with that being the reality, the individual. But yeah, why don't you talk about what we're doing, Beth?
So we kind of have this best role ever as we get to partner with people to transform their lives.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that starts with physical health. That's how it started for us.
Yeah.
We were feeling stuck physically, and we're able to learn how to become healthy people physically, which kind of bled into every other area because it touches everything. And so that's what we get to do. We have Johnson's Transformational Health Coaching, which means we partner with people who are looking for physical health, but it has to be mental and emotional health too, because those are really connected.
Right. Yeah.
And then financial health, because just having one or just having two isn't whole health. And that very much so is a ministry, because it's healthy faith is wrapped all around that, right? And I know for me, when I started, when I was feeling stuck physically, it really made me feel stuck spiritually. And when I was able to learn, does this thing that I'm putting in my mouth match my goals? Does this thing that I'm doing with my time match my bigger goals? And being able to share that with our clients is incredible. And praying with them and praying for them, seeing them unlock pieces that were feeling stuck. It's amazing ministry now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Well, it's cool being able to hand people a system. So as opposed to, hey, just go get healthier. I mean, I think that even if you think in terms of the church, somebody's saying, hey, I just want to get closer to the Lord.
Yeah.
You say, okay, so how do I do that? And it's like, well, you just sort of, do this or that or this. That's pretty nebulous. But when you can actually say, well, there's actually some really cool spiritual disciplines and practices that can help in this process, right? And so similarly, when people work with us, we're able to hand them an actual system to optimize their health, as opposed to just saying, well, cut out this or try this. But actually a very systemized plan is something that, there's a saying that we love that's not original to us, but it's that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the strengths of your systems. And that's something that's fun for us, being able to hand people systems.
So you're able to kind of tie all of the different areas, like, since we've all been in ministry, body, soul, and spirit, you kind of tie them all together.
Which is cool.
While you're doing the transformation, you're also coaching them in every area of their life.
I honestly think that's where the win comes, is when you can bring it all together. And what's interesting is last week when I was telling KRISTIE, who was on the show, I said, David Johnson. She's like, who? David Johnson? Who's that? I said, he was the youth pastor over at Church on the Hill. David Johnson. I had to pull up a picture. She goes, wait.
Actually, I pulled up a picture.
Oh yeah, she looked it up.
He said David Johnson, and I thought, okay, that's a pretty, David's
There's like thousands.
a common name.
Story of
Johnson's
my life.
a common
Story of my
name.
life,
It probably isn't the same person, because he said Church on the Hill. So I only know you from West End and Foursquare. So I was like, oh, okay, that's weird, same name, And then he kept talking. And he's like, they do transformational coaching now, and I'm like, it has to be.
Wait a second. She goes, wait a second. David Johnson?
Bethany's job, David.
So she looks it up. She goes, his wife was my coach.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
what?
I've experienced their transformational
That's so
coaching.
cool.
And I love, it's very easy to stay in it because you involve more than just like what you were saying, David. Don't eat this, only eat that. Make sure you're just it's not just about that. It's learning how to get your mindsets involved, like we were talking about mindsets earlier, and how they keep you so stuck in a moment. So it's wonderful coaching. So.
But the cool thing is she wasn't only involved, I was involved, because everything she was doing affected me, right? It affected me. But I could see the difference. Like, there was an absolute difference in her. And I thought, man, whatever you're doing, you got to keep doing that. Now, doctors say otherwise sometimes. They're telling her what to eat, when to eat, how to do it, right? But when she was on that program with you, Bethany, it was it was amazing to see
really
how systematic it was, and that created the results. And you guys have your own story.
Oh, yeah.
Because y'all have your own transformation. And I don't know if you've seen their pictures, but I brought a couple with me, and with their permission, let's start with David, because I remember David when I first met him at the first 4th of July thing. I'm like, oh, cool guy. And I only knew him as that. So then when I see him years later, I'm like, wait, who are you again, right? But take a look at this photo. Put this first picture up. There's David on the left of the screen, and that was probably close to when I first met him. And now check him out on the right, the skate surfer himself. That is quite a transformation, man. How long? I mean, obviously, and you say it in your story, it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
What kind of process is this?
I mean, for me, this was first. My wife went. She started this process, and for guys, it's honey, go do the thing, do whatever you need to do. Yeah. But I watched her starting getting results, not just physically, but mentally,
Like you were talking
emotionally, and then here I am. I've got my shirt off, brushing my teeth, and all the things are moving. There's, I got a solid A cup that's moving, and I'm just going, no, this is not good.
I love it.
So I went to the doctor because I was also having, some chest pains and different things.
Yeah.
And the doctor just let me know. He did my blood work, and he let me know, like, hey, man, you're way too young to be having these kind of issues.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, shoot, I better jump on this thing with my wife, and so this was the physical transformation, almost 60 pounds, didn't take a super long time for me.
Yeah.
No.
It was
6 months, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 6 months.
Something
months?
like that.
Something like that.
That's that's quite a success.
Yeah.
That's quite a success.
It was the rest that was really the big,
the mind.
the big shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
it was-
honestly, that's a process that is a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
It's a lifetime of
Contending,
learning, right?
constant
Yeah.
contending.
But it's so cool that she was first and you picked up on it. The doctor said, you better do what she's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have a picture of you as well.
Yeah.
In fact, both of you, check out this picture of the two of you. Look at that, you guys. That is an incredible transformation. This couple on the left is the same as this couple on the right, just different.
Yeah.
And what an amazing transformation. Come on, everybody. That is awesome. That is awesome. But this took some time, and like you guys said, it's still a process. So now that you guys look fantastic, by the way, fantastic, what is the process that continues? It's the mind, it's the body, it's the spirit. What are you guys doing now?
I mean, it's really, these side-by-sides are always jaw-dropping, and, takes a picture that I hated and, makes it redemptive. But so much of, as we're learning with the routines and the structure, but it's really, okay, how do I become a healthy person?
Yeah.
Right.
And what does a healthy Bethany look like? What choices does she make? Every little tiny thing of, okay, is this something that's moving me towards my desired future? I spend a lot of time partnering with my future desired self. Okay, what do I want to look like, and what is she doing? And it is, it took me about 8 months to lose that 70 pounds, and that was almost 7 years ago.
Wow.
And I used to say, I've maintained that weight loss, but maintained isn't a strong enough word. It's contending, right? Just like we contend for our healthy marriages, we contend for our healthy spirituality. It's fighting every day to stay healthy and to make those healthy choices. And
I love that language. I can tell you guys are coaches because you're using that coaching language, right?
Yeah, I like how you don't talk about anything being an indefinite time frame. In 6 months you're going to lose this weight and then you're done. It's like transformation is something that's always taking place. So you're always growing, always learning, always changing. I know I did. So
So with Johnson Transformational Coaching, what are the main things that if you could say, if you're gonna join our team, or if you're going to come under our coaching, here's what you're going to learn, like the main points.
I mean, I think It's important to know that we believe people are the most present in their life when they're feeling their best.
Yeah.
And that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we're partnering with a couple, and for them, getting their finances and getting their structure and nutrition is a big part of them being more present in their life. So with our coaching, all of our clients receive like very specific plans that are designed around your lifestyle and your goals. So if you come to me and you say, I love working out, I say, great, let's keep working out. Or somebody who's a truck driver, we have an amazing client who's a truck driver, he's like, I can't, I'm in a truck, 18 hours a day. And so it's really focused on what each individual is looking for. And then it's really focused on that mindset.
So you literally customize it for them.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And then also, you teach them how to be financially free as well, or at least, you know, you go through your spiritual health, you go through your physical health, and you go through your financial health. And you get to just encompass all of that in one coaching you know, I don't know, session or series or structure or outline. That's incredible. So are you got a lot of clients right now that you're helping, and you guys are busy, and this is what you do now. So it's, you know, this is your livelihood. This is what they do. I mean, it's everything. If people wanted to know more about it, where could they go? How would they get a hold of you?
Social media is our best spot on Facebook.
So just search for
Bethany or David Johnson. Health coaching, it will come up.
Yeah, we have a little, what is it, the little link web
We do
thing.
have a website,
But we, for the most part, we really function in personal relationship. You know, we handle this like a ministry, just like I was never a big fan of nothing against church websites, and that's, I get that that's a great way to get some information, but we try to function again in this right here. I'm here to support you face to face, over the phone, over Zoom. So we try to keep it like that.
I love it. Well, I'm sure that there will be people watching that want to know more about it. And we're out of time, but if you had one thing to say to our viewing audience to encourage them to live their best life, what would that be? What would you say to our viewing audience?
I mean, I would say figure out what you want. Importantly, find out why you want it. And then get some structure and some systems around how to get there. So figure out what you want, get a really good why, because that's the fuel that keeps you going. Why you want it.
Why, and then
5
why,
layers
and then
deep.
why,
And then get some systems, structure, and support.
I love it.
So.
That's good.
I totally
Well, we have to take a break, you guys, but don't go away. We'll be right back with more with Bethany and David Johnson, and we're also going to sit down and talk. Have our straight talk, no fear talk session.
No fear.
So we'll be right back.
Well, and how much it showed, like you just described, how it shows up of like, oh, I'm not afraid. Like, oh, actually I am. I'm afraid of approval, or I'm afraid of disapproval, right? And and that really impacts whether someone is willing to change.
When I'm listening to a customer, my number one priority is to listen.
In every moment that I'm with this customer or this client, am I doing everything that I can to look out for their best interest at the end of the day?
Just make sure they have plenty of options and they're happy with the choice that they make. It doesn't matter what we want, everything that they want is what we want to make happen.
At the end of the day, we do a walkthrough, communicate with the customer, make sure they're completely happy with what they've spent their hard-earned money for.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We are now going to start a brand new discussion talking about living with no fear. It's actually just a one show, This is just a one show deal. Tonight is Halloween.
No fear.
Tonight's Halloween. People are going to be trying to scare each other. Trying to scare each other. But we're going to talk about living with no fear. So you know what time it is.
It's time to talk.
Time to talk.
Let's talk. All right, today we're talking about living with no fear. And I'm sure you guys have heard a few things from some people about fear.
For sure.
Fear in life, period. Whether it comes to finances, how we look, our job, whatever. Today is Halloween, so there's a lot of different things about fear. It's kind of a day dedicated to fear and scaring one another and scary, eerie things. So But we're going to try to talk about fear in a different way.
Well, yeah, because the celebration of fear is not healthy.
Right.
It's what the world does on Halloween. I get it.
Yes.
Everybody's doing that. Not everybody. Not everybody,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
We
Yeah.
don't all celebrate it in the same manner.
Yeah.
We call it Harvest Festival,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Right.
But the celebration of fear, I don't believe is healthy. Like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't be celebrating fear. And my first thing is that God is not the author of
Right.
fear,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
He's not. He doesn't give us fear. He's not. If you're fearful, it didn't come from him,
Yeah.
right? He did not give us that. He gave us, a confidence, and he gives us hope, and so
Right.
we want to talk a little bit about that and
Right.
living with no fear. That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes we've seen a picture of a tree, like a dead tree, and it says fear down the trunk of the tree, and then the roots going into the ground, and the roots have different names like anger and
Yeah.
like a lot of things stem off of fear.
Yes, very
not
much so.
just being afraid of
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
but that fear can cause you to be angry about something or timid about something or shy or standoffish. With people.
Yep.
If a confident person's coming at you and you're timid.
Yeah.
You feel that fear of the difference.
Yep.
So you tend to be fearful of that. So,
Yeah. And when you're fearful, you can get stuck. That's what I found.
Very
Yes.
Very much so.
Like like a deer in the headlights,
Yeah.
right? They just freeze. And
Right.
fear
Yeah.
causes you to get stuck. And we were talking about your coaching business and everything, and I'm sure when you're talking to your clients and everything, and you're making these suggestions, some of these recommendations.
Yeah.
Some of them might not go right away because they're stuck in fear. You find that a
Yeah.
lot?
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Fear is one of those things. Oftentimes, I like to say it's like the monkey on our back. It's
Yeah.
not. It's gonna be there. We're humans. We're gonna experience
Right.
fear.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out. Okay, fear is there. It's okay for me to acknowledge it, but I don't need to be a slave to it.
Right.
Right.
So,
That's good.
It's not in charge of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and how much it shows, like you just described, how
Yeah.
it shows up of like, oh, I'm not afraid. Like, oh, actually I am. I'm afraid of approval, or
Right.
I'm afraid of disapproval, right? And
Right.
yeah, and that really
Yeah.
impacts whether someone is willing to change.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
Do you find people coming to you almost with that fear of failure even before they try?
Right.
Oh.
And fear
So
of
it's like
success,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Really?
But they haven't even
Really?
started
Right.
any type
Absolutely.
of plan or
Totally.
anything,
Yeah.
and they're already like afraid
Yeah.
they're going to fail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they don't even start trying.
Yeah.
Talk
to
to me
change.
about the
Definitely.
fear of success. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's often, oh my gosh, I don't want to try this because I think I might fail.
Right.
But so often it's like, oh, well, what if I succeeded? Who would I have to become?
Yeah.
And that's really scary
That's true.
for a lot of
That's a
people.
good point.
And so if I don't take that step forward, then I don't have to find out who that is.
Yeah.
I don't have to
I
tackle
don't have to
that.
grow. Right.
Don't have to grow.
It's much more
Yeah.
comfortable to stay where you are, stay stuck,
Yeah.
than it is to move forward. And I know if I'm conquering fear, that means I'm going to have to grow. And I might need to change. I mean, some things in my life
Yeah.
might need to move around.
Well, it's something I know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that.
Yeah.
Well, there's some
feeling.
truth
Yeah.
in that. Too much is given, much is required.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you can almost fear being given success because then what does that require of
Yeah.
me? You have to be
Right.
more accountable.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. You have
Right.
to answer. You have
very
more
true.
responsibility.
Yep.
A lot
I
of
might
people
have
are
to
afraid.
face my insecurities. I
That's
might have
true.
to face
Yeah.
my shortcomings
Yeah.
or the fact
Right.
that I might need to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
People are afraid to get new jobs because they don't know what that means for them. They don't know
Right.
how hard it's going to be,
Yeah.
if they're going to succeed, right? Sometimes they're afraid of relationships.
Right.
There's just so many things
Or
that
moving even. They know they
Oh,
need
yeah.
to leave where they're at,
Yeah.
but they don't want to go to
Absolutely.
a new place because there's so
Absolutely.
many unknowns.
Absolutely.
I've
Yeah.
been very fearful of changing my hairstyle.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm
wondered
saying?
about that.
Like,
I wondered
don't
about that.
know if I want
Yeah.
to change my hairstyle.
There's just so many options for you. Choosing that's challenging. Yeah,
Like
I get
when-
it.
Different
Like,
colors.
scary.
Yeah. Blonde is fun.
Things like that.
We highly recommend blonde.
highly recommend
obviously.
Well, we encourage people to not
Yeah.
live in fear, and I want to explain why. Because fear is actually, a lot of people think that in order to overcome fear, you have to have more faith. But really, what fear is, it's just an emotion. It's
Right.
it's an emotion driven
Indicator.
by a confidence that either someone or something is going to cause us either pain or struggles or something negative, right?
Yeah.
That's what fear is.
Yeah.
It's this, fear is just a confidence that someone or something is going to cause us trouble.
Yep.
And so
Right.
we fear it.
Yeah.
I fear climbing too tall on the ladder, because if I go too high on the ladder,
Right.
I'm confident.
Right.
This is my brain thinking,
Yeah.
I'm confident I'm going to fall off.
I'm gonna fall off.
Right?
Yeah.
That's fear. It's a confidence in failing or falling or something hurting me.
Right.
Or almost like a phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
people,
phobias.
like arachnophobia. People are afraid of spiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they have this extreme fear of spiders. That's me too. Me too.
I don't like
I don't
spiders.
care
Being
how big it
afraid of
is
the
or how
person.
small it is.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Greek word for fear can
Is
be
phobia.
defined as the excessive or unreasonable fear of an object, place, or situation, which I think you just said.
Right.
Yeah.
You just talked
That's a
about
phobia.
that. Yeah.
So a phobia is an excessive level of fear
Yes. An
Okay.
excessive level of fear or unreasonable.
or unreasonable.
Unreasonable. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, do you ever find yourself looking back at something you did or you were just afraid to do something
Yep.
and you look back and you think, why was I so afraid of that?
Yeah.
You know, I did well and I had no reason to fear it.
Yeah.
But we get so, it's almost like we get so worked up in our emotions.
Yeah.
We allow that monkey, I like to say that monkey
The
is
monkey on your back?
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we become a slave to the emotions going on inside of us, instead of taking control of them, we let them rule our life and lead us down the road, and then we're just out of control.
Yeah.
But
I preached
yeah.
a message once and I listed like a whole bunch of phobias, from
Yeah.
arachnophobia to every other kind of
So
phobia.
many.
I don't even know
kinds.
how you said them.
But
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, I want to teach you a new one. We're going to try this.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I think I can say it.
Okay, Kristie's been rehearsing, and this is
Yeah.
a phobia. Go ahead and teach us this new phobia.
Okay, I think it's pronounced, but I could be wrong. Didascalenophobia.
Didascalenophobia. All right, you guys try. Go ahead.
Didascalenophobia?
Didascalenophobia.
Are you still teaching?
That's dephobe.
Tiny part
A
time.
tiny bit.
Yeah.
So Bethany used to be a teacher.
Oh, I didn't know
in
that.
grade school.
Okay.
Yeah, so this phobia is actually the fear of school. This phobia affects kids mostly, obviously. Well, I
Sure.
guess it could affect teachers
It could,
too, but
yeah.
you know.
Maybe not the right
But
profession.
yeah.
for you
Fear
if
of
you have
school.
that. Yeah.
The fear of school.
I think my kids
I
have had
think
the fear
my
of school.
16-year-old has
Oh,
that
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, every morning. Every
Yeah,
morning.
Mondays especially.
Yeah.
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 But like I was saying, some people will say that in order to overcome fear, and this is a very religious way of thinking, in my opinion.
Sure.
People may not agree with me, but
Yeah.
they say in order to overcome fear, you just need more faith. And I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
I just don't, because everyone has been given a measure of faith.
Right.
We've all been, the Bible says we've all been given a measure of faith. To me, fear is a misplacement of that faith, right?
Yep.
So if I've been given a measure of fear, or faith, it's up to me where I put that faith.
Right.
Or that confidence,
Right.
right? It's
Yep.
totally up to me. I can put my confidence in falling from the ladder,
Right.
or I can put my confidence in my skill to stay up there and
Right.
God to protect me.
Ladder
Right, the
holding,
structure,
holding
yeah.
you
The
up.
structure, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
So if I set a chair like you guys
Yeah.
sat in that sofa, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because you had faith that sofa would keep you up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you were fearful of, I don't know what the phobia is called, do you?
We'll call it sophobia.
Sophobia. I like that. Sophophobia.
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 Yeah.
Perfect.
If you had a
Sophophobia.
sophophobia, it would be an unrealistic,
Right.
unreasonable fear,
Yeah.
and you would be placing your faith or confidence
In the failure
in the failing.
of the sofa.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And what I love what you're saying, it makes me think this is that, fear should cause us to ask a question. Fear is a great indicator. And if I can reflect on and
Sure.
ask the question, what's that about? So if I come in and I'm scared to sit on this couch, I have two options. I can run that way, or I can stop and ask the question, why am I so afraid of that?
Yeah.
And
Right.
I can
Right,
either
that's
lean into it,
Yeah.
or I can bail.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's good.
I think, though, that this confidence that we have in Christ, if we apply that to more of our life, we could literally
Yeah.
live with no
Yeah.
fear.
Sure.
Right? It just reminds me, like, if we say we're going to lose a game and we just continually
Yeah.
speak that, our confidence is that we're going to lose, then guess what happens?
Right. You lose.
You lose.
Yeah.
If you say you're going to hit your shin on the corner of our bed every single night, guess what you do?
I hit my shin.
She does.
I have a bad habit of not liking to turn lights on because I cannot stand the blinding. You know, you get blinded by them and you can't see anything when you come back out. So I just leave all the lights off, and then I'm like trying to judge the distance, you know, that I get this way far enough.
But I honestly think that our failures in life that we fear is because we put more confidence in the failure than we do in God and His ability to keep us safe.
Right. We have a scripture about that in Matthew 17:20, and I'm going to read that real quick. It says, "You don't have enough faith," Jesus told them. "I tell you the truth. If you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it would move. Nothing would be impossible." This is a great scripture. I mean, he's talking, that's a small amount of faith. I mean, it's as big as the little lint roll on my jacket, you know, that's just a very little amount of faith to place in something. So, I mean, if we think about that on a bigger level, like imagine how much we could do in life. You know, how much more we would do in life, not just could, but would do in life. Because I think if we lived in a faith-based life, like just walking forward, we would accomplish so much more. I mean, I think about it all the time, like how much more could I have done? And instead of regretting that, I'm going to now place it to today and keep moving forward, so that from today on, my faith is based more on fear or on faith than fear. My faith is placed in the right spot.
So that little tiny mustard seed of faith. If we just take that faith, we apply it to positive weight loss goals, financial goals, physical health goals,
where we want to go,
career goals,
where we want to be.
That little tiny mustard seed of faith. We apply that faith to that rather than the fear of failing. Rather than the fear of, oh my gosh, what am I going to be responsible for? Just don't live and walk in that negative. Instead, take that little mustard seed, size faith, and apply it to the positive.
Apply it there and walk confidently.
If we do that, I think we're going to see some wins, and I think we're going to be able to live with no fear. I'm not the most powerful, strong, biggest guy on the planet. However, I walk confidently and I don't fear a lot. Like I can walk down a street, I can walk down an alley, I can walk into a store, I can get in front of a crowd. Why? It's not because I think I'm all that in a bag of chips, but I choose to take that mustard seed of faith and apply it to my confidence in Him. I think we do that, we'll live with no fear. But we got to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about living with no fear. We got our good friends David and Bethany with us, so don't be afraid. Come right back with us right after this commercial. Or you just got put on notice on your job. All of a sudden, you're paralyzed, and you already, a day later, have forgotten about these blessings, right? You get paralyzed. And so you fear stuff over here, even though you have already experienced life and blessing and redemption over here. Welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we talked about fear not being the absence of faith, but actually, or confidence, but being the misplacement of faith or confidence. And now I want to talk about how our fear can literally paralyze us. Like we literally get stuck, right? I believe people miss out on huge blessings in life because they're paralyzed in fear. We kind of talked about that a little bit before, but in all of our ministry, we've always taught our leaders, like, we are not going to make decisions based on fear. A lot of times, like, KRISTIE and I would have this vision for the church, and we would bring it to everybody, and there would be a lot of, but what if? And we never did it that way before, and what if they say this? And what if people, I'm like, we don't make we don't make decisions based on fear. We don't make the decisions based on the what ifs. We make decisions based on what God tells us to do, and that's it, right?
Yeah, and oftentimes visionaries, people that kind of see they have a futuristic vision of something. People can't see that. Like they can't even get on board with it sometimes. You know, they're like, okay, I just don't see how we can get from point A to point B. Yeah. So because they can't see any part of that transformation, it's like they're just stuck there. Yeah. They stay there. Yep. And I'm sure you guys meet a lot of people like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and we talk to people a lot about you're not necessarily going to be able to see it because I mean, even my first conversation with my coach was like, I don't know, lose 50 pounds. I've never been able to do that. I kind of made up the number, right? But, you know, for her to be able to say, I know you don't know that it can happen. I know you don't trust, but you have to just trust me and go step by step. And we get the incredible honor to say that to people all the time of like, I know this is really scary. I know you haven't seen it happen before, but trust us. We've helped a lot of people. We have ourselves been in it, and you know, God does that with us all the time. Like, I have no idea what you're doing, God, but you're trustworthy, and I'm gonna just
you know, our experience in life, I look at it like a spectrum, and we'll talk about this in our next episode too, on being thankful for nothing. But we have experiences in life on a spectrum, I like to say. And on this side, we have all the obvious miracles of God, obvious blessings, right? Maybe you win the lottery. Oh, thank you, Jesus, right? Or maybe someone blesses you with a car. Oh my gosh, it's easy to praise God for that and live in confidence, right? Then we have the neutral zone, which is our daily life, like, you know, you have a job, you have food on your table, you have a roof over your head. It's everyday living, right? You have clothing on your back, and it's easy to live without much fear because you know that when you come home, you have a roof over your head. You know that when you open your refrigerator, there's going to be food on the table, right? Or in your fridge. So that's the neutral zone. But what about the experiences we have in life that are on this side? It's the stuff that is really, really painful, the struggles, the challenges, the things that we fear in life, right? The
circumstances we go through, the hardness, you know, when we hit that, you know, rock bottom spot, or maybe we lose our job. Yeah. You know, that tends to be one of those things that's way down there. We forget to be thankful when we're only seeing a bad circumstance or a bad, you know, event that happened in our life. We forget to be thankful for those, like you said, you get up in the morning and you know you have a roof over your head. Well, you could not have a roof over your head. You know, circumstances could change. You could have a house fire in the middle of the night. Yeah. But remembering to be thankful even for the things that most people would say, I'm not thankful for a house fire. You know, I'm not thankful for the bad things. Yeah. They don't see any reason to be thankful in that. But we know, you know, looking back, when we've gone through the hard things, we've gone through the challenging things, we can look back and see the growth. We see the things that came about even from the ashes, like the Word of God says, beauty that rises from those ashes. And we know we should have been thankful. You know, learning to just discipline ourselves to be thankful at all times for no matter where we are on that spectrum, when miraculous things happening, our everyday stuff, you know, having clothes to put on.
But when we talk about being paralyzed, this is what really gets to me, you guys. Think about this. You may have won the lottery. You may have got a new job. Somebody might have blessed you with a car. You go to church that Sunday, and you praise God. You have a testimony. You want to get on the microphone and tell the world. And then the next day, you get a flat tire, or you run out of gas, or you just got put on notice on your job. All of a sudden, you're paralyzed, and you already, a day later, have forgotten about these blessings, right? You get paralyzed. And so you fear stuff over here, even though you have already experienced life and blessing and redemption over here. And you've got that spectrum. But we still tend to forget how God pulled us out of this situation and blessed us when we see something else scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to read a scripture in 1 Samuel 17:37.
Because this talks just about that.
Yes, David talks about this. It says, moreover, David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion, from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said to David, go, and the Lord be with you. And I think right here we're talking about when David went up against the Philistine.
Right.
David was just a little, shepherd boy out there helping his father out, watching over his sheep, and he had to protect them. So he came up against a lion and a bear, and he just had the mindset, God protected me in that. So I'm going to go up against this giant, and I'm good. I'm going to be good. I'm going to beat this guy.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy how God has blessed us. He's healed us. He's delivered us from so many crazy situations. But yet, the moment we see a little bit of danger, we get into freak out mode, right? I mean, we just freak out. And I honestly think that if we can remember how God delivered us from the lion, if we can remember how God delivered us from the bear, then we can remember and apply that little itty bitty mustard seed level of faith in the confidence that he can deliver me from the Philistine. Now, I don't know what that means in your life or in our life or somebody else's life. For you, what's the Philistine in your life? For you, what's the Philistine in your life? What's he going to get you through next that he's already got you? When we look at the before and after pictures of you two, come on. He's already given you the power and the ability and the unction to function in that capacity to get you from where you were to where you are today. Looking mighty fine. Come on, somebody. Look at come on. Right? Now, think about it. If he's already done that for you, then what is there to fear? Just apply that faith in the rest of your life. I mean, come on. Talk to me.
Well, as you're talking, I'm thinking, it's not that God can't handle the giants in our life. You know what I mean? God has the power to do that, but I think he's waiting for a volunteer sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that thing of remembering, the best indicator of God's future faithfulness is our history with him, and what he's done and what we've seen him already do. And I think as you're talking, what I'm thinking is remembering that. I imagine the reason that David could face the Philistine was not because, I think we look through the book of Psalms, we see David being realistic about fear. Fear is a real human emotion.
That's right.
Thing.
That's right.
It's something we're going to live with, right?
Right.
So he acknowledges it. But he always has that great line that I love that David uses over and over again, but he says, "But you, O Lord." So he comes back and he brings heaven's perspective to bear. And so if you think about his time with Goliath, he was probably sitting back. He says, me, little old me, I can't do anything about it. But God delivered me from the hand of this beast. He's got me here. I've seen what he can do and what he has done. He probably can kill that guy too. You know what I mean? And so again, I think it's that piece of remembering our history with God, what he has done, what he can do, will help us understand what he probably will do in the future.
If I ask KRISTIE to lead worship on Sunday, playing the piano, she'll have a reason to fear. Because she has nowhere to place her faith.
The piano.
There's nowhere to place her confidence because God gave her no giftings there.
I will take my daughter with me.
Okay? So that's why Kaylani's leading worship on Sunday, right? So we just have to acknowledge our lady, right? So, well, we're almost out of time, but I want to share this last thought. I know that life can get crazy. And situations can be scary to say the least. But God is still God. And he is still on the throne, and he's still greater than any situation you could possibly imagine. We can absolutely live with no fear when we properly place our faith and confidence. This isn't a denial of danger. It's an acknowledgement of God's power.
And most of us can tell story after story about how God saved you before. Lion, like David experienced, but perhaps it was God saving you from financial ruin. When he blessed you with a new job or saved you from a terrible accident when your driving was slightly delayed or maybe off that day. Don't let fear paralyze you. Live life to the fullest. Trust God and live with no fear.
That's right. Well, we're out of time, you guys, and we want to thank our guests, David and Bethany Johnson, and we want to thank our sponsor, Advantage Heating and Cooling, keeping Salem in the Mid-Valley comfortable since 1992. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe tonight and have a great week, everyone.
Now you're shredding.